Hey, this is Pastor Ken, and I'm working my way through the copious notes that I took on Dr. Donald Gray Barnhouse's excellent work on the exposition of Paul's epistle to Romans. So these are sermon illustrations that were used by Dr. Barnhouse in his magnificent work on Romans. The title of this illustration is The Pin Oak Tree and Playing Marbles, or The Expulsive Power of a New Affection. There is one variety of oak tree that is known as the pin oak. One of the chief characteristics is that it keeps its dead leaves all through the winter. But some spring day when the sap flows, the leaves will drop off because of the pulsing new life within. All believers have a lot of dead leaves clinging to them, and some people start picking them off one by one. All they do is reveal the dead skeleton of their former life, and it is denuded and uninviting. But there are some Christians who understand God's method is to let the sap flow from the vine into the branches, and the old leaves will fall off, and the new life will come by itself. Now he adds to this illustration with another illustration to illustrate his illustration, which is why I love this. He talks about when he was a little boy and he was learning to play marbles. And that was his infatuation as a child. But he was reaching a point in life where he wanted to grow up and be like the older boys who weren't infatuated with playing marbles, but they were doing something else that was a little more grown up. And so he mentions that one day he was playing with tops and marbles, and I had never come to the place where I said, "Oh, I'm a big boy now, and big boys shouldn't play marbles. So I will make a great effort to give up playing marbles." It did not happen that way. One day I was playing marbles with a group of small boys, and some older boys came by. And they looked at me and said, "Hey kid, can you field a ball?" "Sure I can," I replied with vigor. "Well then, we're short a fielder. Get out there and see what you can do." I went out and I was ready to play my head off to keep up with the older fellows. When it was my turn to bat, I was ready to swing till I burst, and to run till I dropped, and to do all that I could to keep up with the bigger company. And when the game was over, we older boys, as I then clasped myself, walked down the street, past the little fellows who were playing marbles. And I did not go back to playing marbles. I had graduated. I did not give up marbles. Marbles gave me up. Now, of course, in the next line, he will quote the famous title by a Scottish preacher of a message called The Expulsive Power of a New Affection. So anytime anybody is struggling with some old and bad habits, one of the great things that you can tell them is replace those bad habits with the good habits of reading scripture, praying, fellowshipping, go to church, singing hymns, etc., etc. The expulsive power of a new affection was illustrated by Dr. Barnhouse with the pin oak tree, and also his giving up, or the marbles giving him up, in his rise to adulthood from childhood. Thank you for watching. End of video.